Divine Principle, the Principle of Creation, Section 6, the Incorporeal World and the Corporeal World, whose center is human beings. The incorporeal world and the corporeal world as substantial realities. The universe was created after the pattern of a human being who is in the image of God's dual characteristics. Therefore, the structure of the universe and every entity and being in it resembles that of a human being, which consists most fundamentally of mind and body. Corresponding to the human mind and body, the universe consists of the incorporeal world and the corporeal world, both of which are real and substantial. The incorporeal world is so called because we cannot perceive it through our 5 physical senses. Yet we can perceive it through our 5 spiritual senses. Those who have had spiritual experiences testify that the incorporeal world appears as real as the world in which we live. The incorporeal and corporeal worlds together form the cosmos. The body cannot act apart from its relationship with the mind. A person cannot perform true actions apart from a relationship with God. Likewise, the corporeal world cannot manifest its true value apart from a relationship with the incorporeal world. Furthermore, just as we cannot discern a person's character without fathoming his mind, and we cannot understand the fundamental meaning of human life without understanding God, so we cannot completely understand the nature and structure of the corporeal world without understanding the nature and structure of the incorporeal world. The incorporeal world, or the spirit world, is in the position of the subject partner, and the corporeal world, or physical world, is in the position of the object partner. The latter is like a shadow of the former. When we shed our physical bodies, after our life in the physical world, we enter the spirit world as spirits and live there for eternity. The position of human beings in the cosmos. The position of human beings in the cosmos has 3 aspects. First, God created human beings to be the rulers of the universe. The universe does not in and of itself have internal sensibility toward God. Hence, God doesn't govern the universe directly. Rather, God endowed human beings with sensibilities to all things in the universe and gave them the mandate to rule over the universe directly. God created the human body with elements from the physical world, such as water, clay, and air, to allow us to perceive and govern it. To make it possible for us to perceive and govern the spirit world, God created our spirits with the same spiritual elements that compose the spirit world. On the Mount of Transfiguration, Moses and Elijah, who had died hundreds of years earlier, appeared before Jesus and ministered to him. These were actually the spirits of Moses and Elijah. Yet Jesus was able to converse with them and was glorified before them. Human beings composed of flesh, which can dominate the physical world, and spirit, which can dominate the spiritual world, likewise had the potential to rule both worlds. Second, God created human beings to be the mediator and the center of harmony of the cosmos. When a person's flesh and spirit unite through give-and-take action and become God's substantial object partner, the physical and spiritual worlds can also begin give-and-take action with that person as their center. Thus, they achieve harmonious integration to construct a cosmos that is responsive to God. Like the air that enables 2 tuning forks to resonate with each other, a true person acts as the mediator and the center of harmony between the 2 worlds. The ability to communicate between the 2 worlds also may be likened to a radio or television, which transforms invisible waves into perceptible images and sounds. Thus, a person can accurately convey the realities of the spirit world to the physical world. Third, God created human beings to encapsulate, in a substantial form, the essences of everything in the cosmos. God created the universe by projecting and developing the pre-existing prototype of the human internal nature and external form into countless substantial forms. The human spirit encapsulates all the elements found in the spirit world, since God created the spirit world as the unfolding of the spirit's internal nature and external form. The human body encapsulates all the elements of the physical world, since God created the material realm as the unfolding of the body's internal nature and external form. Accordingly, since human beings contain within themselves the essences of all the things in the cosmos, each person is a microcosm. However, due to the human fall, the universe has lost its master. St. Paul wrote, "The creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God," that is, people who have been restored to the original state. Tragically, with the fall of human beings, who should have served as the center of universal harmony, the give and take between the physical and the spiritual worlds was severed. The two worlds were rendered utterly unable to achieve integration and harmony. Since they remain divided, Paul continued, the whole creation has been groaning in travail. Jesus came as the new Adam, perfect in flesh and spirit. He was the microcosm of the cosmos. This is why it is written, God has put all things in subjection under his feet. Jesus is our Savior. He came into the world to open the way for fallen people to become perfect as he was perfect, by moving our hearts to believe in him and become one with him. The reciprocal relationship between the physical self and the spiritual self. The structure and functions of the physical self. The physical self consists of the dual characteristics of the physical mind, subject partner, and the physical body, object partner. The physical mind directs the physical body to maintain the functions necessary for its survival, protection, and reproduction. Instinct, for example, is an aspect of an animal's physical mind. For the physical self to grow in good health, it must have proper nourishment. It must absorb air and sunlight, which are intangible, yang types of nourishment, and must eat and drink food and water, which are tangible, yin types of nourishment. The body has give and take with this nourishment through its digestive and circulatory systems. Good or evil in the conduct of the physical self is the main determinant of whether the spirit self becomes good or evil. This is because the physical self provides a certain element, which we call the vitality element, to the spirit self. In our everyday experience, our mind rejoices when our physical self performs good deeds, but feels anxiety after evil conduct. This is because vitality elements, which can be good or evil according to the deeds of the physical self, are infused into our spiritual self. The structure and functions of the spirit self. Our spirit self, or spirit, is a substantial yet incorporeal reality, which can be apprehended only through the spiritual senses. It's the subject partner to our physical self. Our spirit can communicate directly with God and is meant to govern the incorporeal world, including the angels. In appearance, our spirit self matches our physical self. After we shed the physical self, we enter the spirit world and live there for eternity. The reason we desire an eternal life is because our innermost self is the spirit self, which has an eternal nature. Our spirit self consists of the dual characteristics of the spirit mind and the subject partner, and the spirit body as the object partner. The spirit mind is the center of the spirit self, and it's where God dwells. The spirit grows through give and take action between the two types of nourishments, life elements of a yang type that come from God, and vitality elements of a yin type that come from the physical self. The spirit self not only receives vitality elements from the physical self, it also returns an element to the physical self, which we call the living spirit element. When people receive grace from a heavenly spirit, they undergo many positive changes in their physical self. They feel infinite joy and new strength welling up in them, which can even drive away illness. Such phenomena occur because the physical self receives living spirit elements from the spirit self. The spirit can grow only while it abides in the flesh. Thus, the relationship between the physical self and the spirit self is similar between that of a tree and its fruit. When the physical mind obeys the spirit mind, and the physical self acts according to the good purpose of the spirit mind, The physical self receives living spirit elements from the spirit self and becomes wholesome. In return, the physical self provides good vitality elements to the spirit self, which enable the spirit self to grow properly in the direction of goodness. Truth illuminates the innermost desires of the spiritual mind, of the spirit mind. A person must first comprehend his spirit mind's deepest desire through the truth, and then put this knowledge into action to fulfill his responsibility. Only then do the living spirit elements and the vitality elements reciprocate within him, enabling him to progress toward goodness. The living spirit element and the vitality element have the relationship of internal nature and external form, because all people have living spirit elements ever active within themselves. Even an evil person's original mind inclines toward goodness. However, unless he actually leads a life of goodness, the living spirit elements cannot engage in proper give and take with the vitality elements, nor can they be infused into his physical self to make it wholesome. It can be inferred from the above that the spirit self can attain perfection only during a person's earthly life. The spirit mind guides the spirit self as it grows in the soil of the physical self. The growth of the spirit self toward perfection progresses through 3 orderly stages ordained by the principle of creation. A spirit in the formation stage of life is called a form spirit, in the growth stage a life spirit, and in the completion stage a divine spirit. A spirit fully matures as a divine spirit when the person's spirit self and physical self unite through perfect give and take action, centered on God, and form the four-position foundation. A divine spirit can accurately feel and perceive every reality in the spirit world. As these spiritual realities resonate through the body and manifest themselves as physiological phenomena, they can be recognized through the 5 physical senses. People of divine spirit who thus resonate with the spirit world build the kingdom of heaven on earth. When they shed their physical bodies, they'll make a smooth transition into the kingdom of heaven in the spirit world. For this reason, the kingdom of heaven in heaven will be realized only after the kingdom of heaven on earth has been established. All the sensibilities of a spirit are cultivated through the reciprocal relationship between the physical self during earthly life. Therefore, only when a person reaches perfection and is totally immersed in the love of God while on earth can he fully delight in the love of God as a spirit after his death. All the qualities of the spirit self are developed while it abides in the physical self. Sinful conduct during earthly life aggravates evil and ugliness in the spirit of a fallen person, while the redemption of sins granted during earthly life opens the way for a spirit to become good. This is the reason Jesus had to come to the earth in the flesh, to save sinful humanity. We must lead a good life while we're on the earth. Jesus gave the keys to the kingdom of heaven to Peter, who remained on the earth, and said, "Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Because the primary objective of the providence of restoration must be carried out on the earth. It's not God who decides whether a person's spirit enters heaven or hell upon his death. It's decided by the Spirit himself. Humans are created so that once they reach perfection, they will fully breathe the love of God. Those who committed sinful deeds while on earth will become crippled spirits who are incapable of fully breathing the love of God in the love of God. They find it agonizing to stand before God, the center of true love. Of their own will, they choose to dwell in hell, far removed from the love of God. Since the human spirit can grow only in the soil of the physical self, the multiplication of human spirits takes place at the same time that the multiplication of physical selves occurs during earthly life. The spirit mind, the physical mind, and their relationship in the human mind. The human mind consists of the spirit mind and the physical mind. The relationship between these two minds is like that between internal nature and external form. When they become one, through give and take action with God as their center, they form a united functioning entity or being which guides the spirit self and physical self to become harmonious and progress toward the purpose of creation. This united being is the mind of a human being. This united entity is the mind of a human being. The conscience is that faculty of the human mind which, by virtue of its inborn nature, always directs us toward what we think is good. However, due to the fall, human beings have become ignorant of God, and thus ignorant of the absolute standard of goodness. For this reason, we're unable to set the proper standard of judgment for our conscience. As the standard of goodness varies, the standard of our conscience also fluctuates. This causes frequent contention, even among those who advocate a conscientious life. The original mind is that faculty of the human mind which pursues absolute goodness. It relates to the conscience as internal nature to external form. A person's conscience directs him to pursue goodness according to the standard which he has set up in accordance, in ignorance, even though it may differ from the original standard. However, the original mind, being sensitive to the proper direction, repels this faulty standard and works to correct the conscience. As long as our spirit mind and physical mind are under the bondage of Satan, the functioning entity they form through their give-and-take action is called the evil mind. The evil mind continually drives people to do evil. The original mind and conscience direct us to repel the evil mind. They guide us in desperate efforts to reject evil desires and cling to goodness by breaking our ties with Satan and turning to face God.